Tommy began typing out a response. She watched over while speculations running through her mind. Oh, is this... There was no way a mild-mannered young lady like her could be dating one of her father's coworkers, was there? Right, this part. I completely forgot about this part. Take that tape off. Here, take a look at this. Huh? Osawa could never have suspected what he saw on the LCD screen. It was an email from Atomi. Stifling an exclamation, he scanned the contents of the message. There's a man following me. He has a gun and I think he's trying to kill me. Oh. I'm safe for the moment, so try not to worry. The kidnapper warned me, told me not to contact my family or the police. Please keep this email a secret. Didn't Atomi give the kidnapper the ransom? Osawa said. What could anyone want with her now? Tanaka shook his head, uncertain. You wouldn't know any better than I suppose. Do the police know about this? And if so, why haven't they said anything? He felt himself start to tremble as he searched for answers in Tanaka's silent gaze. Do you think this could be related to that other thing? I doubt it. If it were, why would they go after Hitomi? I suppose you're right, but... Osawa was shaking out right now. Tanaka laid a hand on his shoulder. First, just calm down and let's think about what we know about the kidnapper. His composure helped Osawa keep himself under control. They've taken Maria, the vice director continued quietly, along with a ransom of 50 million yen. And now they're after Hitomi? His gaze sharpened. Sir, do you think this could be someone who holds a personal grudge against you? Grudge? Osawa considered he couldn't think of anyone who would have a reason to attack him. He'd been too caught up in virus research since his time in school to have formed any hostile rivalries. He didn't have any enemies that he knew of. Maybe someone's jealous that I became head of a laboratory? He suggested doubtfully. He had held his position for years at this point. Why would that spur someone into kidnapping his daughter now? I really think he has to do something with those emails, though. Has anything happened recently? Tanaka asked. Anything strange since you got back from overseas? Since I got back? Sawa's heart skipped a beat. They started pumping faster. The first thing that came to mind was the solicitation he'd gotten from the American laboratory. If he accepted the offer, it would put Koshi Pharmaceutical in quite a bind. Possibly enough to warrant someone holding a grudge over it. The only other person who knew about the potential transfer right now was his wife, Ai. No, Sawa said nothing. Not that I can think of. He couldn't bring himself to discuss the transfer with Tanaka. He felt a surge of guilt for contemplating leaving his trusted assistant behind. If he did make the move to America, he planned to recommend that Tanaka replace him as department director. Still, he didn't expect that to make up for his abandonment. Alright, I'll see what information I can find then, Tanaka said. The kidnapper had forbidden any contact with their family or the police, but Tanaka was outside of that circle. He knew how to handle himself with discretion. Sorry to have to put this on you, Osawa said. Thank you. For now, let's see if we can get Atomi to exchange some more emails. An uncomfortable thought suddenly occurred to Osawa. He blurted it out without thinking. Why do you have my daughter's contact information on your phone? Tanaka gave him a worried look. Sir, I promise I can explain once all this is over. And with that, he stepped out of the bathroom. Something in the tone of his final words led Osawa to wonder. Could it be that Tanaka and Atomi were dating? He hoped dearly for that not to be the case. Their age difference alone made the idea of disturbing one, let alone so many other considerations. Mamoru Tanaka is 40 years old. Atomi is 19. Yeah, that's a huge gap, even though I'd be like, no. This makes them just over twice her age. This does not necessarily mean, however, that they could not date or fall for each other. Many couples with such an age difference between them wind up in a happy committed relationship. Which again, I don't mind, but that is a huge gap. Trying to put aside his paranoia, Osawa resumed the struggle with a clog in the toilet. Most other clogs are caused by a buildup of flushable paper products or by solid objects inadvertently dropped into the toilet bowl, but shockingly enough, on very rare occasions, they can be caused by someone taking a dump that happens to be that big that it gets stuck in the pipe. Apologies to anyone who might be eating right now. Oh, Jesus. Oh, goodness. You're so fucking weird, dude. Kajiwara appears still toting the bucket. You seem to be having a lot of trouble there, sir. He made it sound like the whole mess was Osawa's fault. Of course I am. I've never had to do this before. Really? I think the research you do would be a lot more difficult than this. Fixing toilets gives me far more trouble, I'd say. So it would seem. Kajiwara stood watching as if Osawa's efforts made it an interesting show. I don't know the first thing about viruses, sir, but I don't find unclogging toys to be that difficult. Oh yeah? Osawa snapped. And how about you fix the damn thing? Kajiwara really was a world-class pro at pissing people off. Are you sure? You don't mind? The detective asked. Be my goddamn guest! Osawa shoved the plunger into Kajiwara's hand. Oh, Jesus. Leaving the detective to handle the toilet, Osawa marched back to his study. He turned on the CD player and lay back on the sofa, squeezing his eyes shut. He was seriously on edge. Kajiwara had totally broken his stride. What now? The doors of the study slid slowly open. Oh, God. It's Detective Kajiwara, sir. Please don't come in here without asking. Apologies, Mr. Osawa. Just wanted to inform you that the toilet has been fixed. Right, fine. Osawa already cared. He just wanted this guy to give him a little peace. Oh my, is that really all you have to say, sir? Nary a compliment or encouraging word. I don't like this guy. Maybe a good job, Kajiwara. You're getting a promotion. I can't give you that. Osawa blew out his breath in exasperation. How? How are you a detective? I'm not sure I get your meaning, sir. You're completely clueless. I'd like to ask your superiors to replace you with a detective who knows how to take his job seriously. Mr. Osawa, with all due respect, it's unusual for a precinct detective like me to be stationed here at a victim's home. What's your point? Not to brag, sir, but I happen to be an exceptional detective. Kajiwara beamed with pride. In fact, I made an excellent showing in the Superstar Detective Contest we had on our police social media service. An online platform which primary feature is allowing people to connect with one another. The police exclusive social media network that Kajiwara belongs to, Poxy, is very strictly regulated with any abuse of language, slander, sexual content, or lame jokes deleted almost immediately. For a moment, Osawa thought the bolt of incredulous anger that shot through him was the onset of a stroke. How could a single person be so utterly infuriating? You can't tell anyone about this, Kajiwara went on obliviously. But this summer, a new detective bunker is starting up, based on me. Planned for serialization of the MPD's monthly PR magazine. The chapter titles have already been decided. Chapter 1, The Fabled Detective Kaji. Chapter 2, Kaji Howls at the Sun. Chapter 3, Kaji Rides the Rails. Chapter 4, Kaji at Daybreak. Chapter 5, Detective Jack. Chapter 6, Kaji, Queen of the Street. Chapter 7, Lookout Kaji. Chapter 8, Kaji on the Edge. Chapter 9, Dance Kaji Dance. Chapter 10, Space Detective Kaji, and so forth and so on. Osawa spat out a peal of feigned laughter. A manga? I can tell you all about the plot, sir. Would you like to hear about it? I would not. It's about a telecommuting detective who solves major crimes using just his wits and his computer. Surely you'd like to hear about that, sir. I really wouldn't. I know I may not look it, but I'm pretty handy with computers. Kajiwara's eyes drifted over to Osawa's desktop. His hand darted to the mouse. In a matter of moments, he cleared the screensaver and booted up a web browser. Hey, Osawa barked. Don't touch that. But he was too late to stop the detective. The monitor showed the page for Aya.net, a fan page devoted to Aya Kamiki. Osawa's imminent rage stroke was beginning to make his vision grow fuzzy. He comes to the site regularly, sir. Regularly? Well, I'm not sure Osawa trailed off, feeling the heat of a blush flare on his cheeks. There's a lot of stuff on this site. Is there a section you probably spend time on? Well, I mean, for my part, I really only go to the fan forums for folks of 40 and over. Aha! With a twinkle of curiosity in his eyes, Kajiwara peered at the computer screen. Having his privacy invaded to this degree was the ultimate disgrace. Alright, Osawa huffed. You're an amazing detective, Kajiwara. Just incredible. I see you in a new light now. Now, would you please... Get the hell out of my room, he tried to usher Kajiwara back out of there. Please leave me alone. Heck, got up to leave the study. Bad idea, in my opinion, for that one, so it has to be this one. Now, would you please get the hell out of my room? Tried to usher Kajiwara back out the door. Alright, sir, the detective said. Alright, I understand. I'll leave. Before that... Kajiwara slipped his hand into his pocket. I don't need a damn banana. It's not that, Mr. Osawa. I have something that I think may be important to you. He held out a small plastic bag. Inside it was a scrap of paper from some sort. What's that? Osawa asked. This is what was clogging the toilet, sir. With some hesitation, Osawa took hold of the bag. Huh? That's... The passenger name here is listed as Kenji Osawa. In the plastic bag was a plane ticket, specifically the one for his upcoming flight to the US the following week. He left it out on his desk. How did it wind up getting flushed down the toilet? Uh-oh. This looks like it's pretty important, sir, Kajiwara said. I must say it was pretty careless of you to accidentally flush it. A wry sort of smile came to his face. Although the detective added, I suppose the question of who flushed it is another matter entirely. Osawa was at a loss for words. Someone had tried to flush his plane ticket on purpose? He was sure of it. He knocked on the door to Ai's room, but there was no response. It didn't look like she'd gotten back home yet. Osawa let himself in. The stinging scent of her perfume pervaded the room, which was decorated all in white. Clothes were strewn all about as if to put her Slaven lesson on display. She'd been like this ever since they'd gotten married, and Osawa had long since stopped caring. It must have been I who tried to flush the ticket. He knew she didn't want him going to America, but still couldn't she have found a better way to get rid of it? Thanks to her, he'd been stuck hunched over the damn toilet fighting with the plunger. Osawa sat down on the bed amidst the brand name clothing. Then he spotted something odd down by his feet. It was a gold cigarette lighter? Just one had I picked up smoking. Osawa picked up the lighter and set it on the shelf next to the bed. He started out of the room, which stopped as he noticed a scrapbook on the bookshelf. The rest of the shelf was full of fashion magazines, so the scrapbook definitely drew his eye. Curious, he took it down and opened it. The book was filled with articles and write-ups about the results of Osawa's research and the company's various achievements. Flipping through the pages took him on a trip down memory lane. There was even an old company memo welcoming Tanaka on board as his new vice director. There was a photo of Osawa shaking Tanaka's hand at the party celebrating his new position. It was a little peculiar to think that she had bothered to keep something so trivial. A series of magazine articles nestled between the pages further into the book. These hadn't been clipped out for inclusion in the scrapbook itself. Osawa glanced through them. Floundering Okoshi Pharmaceutical arranges marriage a political convenience? It was a self-indulgent piece from some rag called 4-Star General Gossip from right after he and I had gotten married. Oh. When the piece had first run, he'd been too furious to read it. Now he gave it a quick looking over. It was pretty much exactly what he expected. He talked about how one of the corporate directors had sacrificed his own daughter in order to keep one of his researchers on board. Allowing someone else to come into harm for one's personal gain. In this case, the term is used figuratively, not literally. Referring, of course, to Makino offering Osawa Ai's hand in marriage. Rumors abound of marital strife between the newlyweds. The article went on to talk about how Ai had been dating another man before she and Osawa had gotten married. The whole thing was a bunch of puerile rubbish. Any marriage involves some kind of calculated self-interest after all. Whatever the reasons for their union, nothing changed the fact that I was now his wife. With a faint sigh, Osawa put the scrapbook back on the shelf. Still don't like her. Feeling disconsolate, he returned to his study and began flipping through his CD rack. His eyes scanned for Aya Kamiki's album For Tomorrow Forevermore. A lot of her more experimental numbers were on that album. Given her discombobulated, he felt right now that this was what he needed to hear. Again, Osawa reflected on how there'd been a time when he didn't care about music at all. Simply purchased copies of the most popular CD at the moment as birthday presents for his 2 girls. That had just happened to be an album by Aya Kamiki. He told me it was thrilled for the gift, but Maria hadn't seemed to be pretty fond of it. The next day, she tossed her copy back on her father's desk. Figuring that throwing it away would be a waste, Osawa stuck the CD into his computer to give it a listen. He was immediately bombarded by an intense beat posted by bold, uplifting vocals. Aya Kamiki wrote her own lyrics, which did a fine job of conveying the emotions of a teenage girl. Osawa could hardly believe it. After listening to just one track, he was well and truly hooked. Before the day was out, he had purchased her entire discography. Damn. Huh? He muttered. For tomorrow should have been in the CD rack, but there was no sign of it. Where the heck is it? Why isn't it here? For a moment he wondered if he was going crazy, and then he remembered it was at the lab. He'd wanted something to listen to on break at work, so he brought the album there. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Not being able to listen to it made him want to hear it all the more. It wasn't like he could just go out and buy another copy right now either. He just had to borrow the copy he'd given to Tommy all those years ago. Unable to contain his need to hear that music, he went to Tommy's room. There, he quickly rummaged through the CD rack beside his daughter's bed. Part of him felt like he was being a sneak thief. According to the email Tanaka had shown him, someone was trying to kill Tomi. Under the circumstances, he knew that what he was doing was ridiculous, and yet he still couldn't resist the impulse to find the CD. But his efforts were to no avail. There were no Aya Kamiki CDs in the rack at all. Osawa pulled out every CD on the rack, but they were all classical music. He slumped back in disappointment. It had to be somewhere here in the room. Osawa jumped at the sound of his cell and fumbled to get it out of his pocket. Makino's name was displayed on the LCD screen. I'm out front. That was all Makino said before hanging up. Hurriedly, Osawa began tidying up the CD rack. As he worked, he thought about what he was going to say to Makino. Do you think that someone had violated corporate policy to such unethical ends? It's solely this research. Osawa wasn't about to let anyone get away with it. And yet, he was about to leave Hitomi's room. A sudden uncertainty gripped him. He hesitated. Did he have any right to condemn Kamikino for running trials in secret? His hand began to sweat as it gripped the doorknob. No, he didn't. How could he? His hands were dirty in all this, too. We need to keep this a secret just between us. It'll be fine. We've already cleared animal testing. The memories hovered. Osawa himself had already administered their antiviral to someone, hadn't he? It was the only way. Muttering to nobody in particular, Osawa trudged toward the front door of his house. To be continued. Oh, I hate these cliffhangers.